contact between the two of them. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. And there's contact between Shenington and Campbell Pilling.
Good morning and welcome to Shenington for the first round of the 2024 Daniel Ricciardo Series. It is the beginning of a new era for the championship, as this weekend marks the debut of the two Arrive and Drive cadet categories. Yesterday we had a thrilling and unpredictable DRS35 Grand Final. Leo Edger took the honours in that one, and today it's the turn of the DRS35 drivers to feature on the live stream. And we've also got the return of DRS100s as well, our juniors. That category is going to be as hotly contested as ever, and of course our DRS125 seniors will also feature as well. Sam Faulkner is still the benchmark there, but if qualifying is anything to go by, the competition is going to be hotly contested throughout the field. Looks set to be much more intense than last year in our 125s. So we're well set for an absolute cracker all around here today at Shenington. Engines fired up, and we are ready for our first ever DRS35 qualifying session. Looks like there might be potentially one driver having a little problem getting fired up, as I believe just saw Andy there just running down to somebody, although yes, there he is. Just trying to see who that is on the stream. Looks like it might well be number 23 that had a problem getting fired up there, which would be S-Killed Hewitt, who of course we just mentioned was second fastest in the warm-up session earlier on. Worth noting, actually, that we went out. I accompanied the DRS35 drivers on their track walk just to see what they would be told, what kind of guidance would be given, and Andy led the walk and essentially just took them on a long kind of guide of the lap here at Shenington. I wonder if that will occur across the rest of the season, because some of these drivers, of course, won't necessarily be familiar with the circuits. But it was a fantastic guide telling the drivers where to take certain lines and what speed to take through certain corners, where you've got to scrub off speed, particularly the Bruno chicane. You've got to try and scrub off a little bit of speed on the entry to make sure that you get a good run going through the left-hand part of it, which is really the main apex there. As they come across the line for the first time. Some of them actually going 3 wide. Pretty aggressive to begin qualifying, as some of these drivers look to set their opening lap times. But certainly as we were watching the warm-up, it was very apparent that the guidance that Andy gave was being listened to. This qualifying session for the moment looks a little bit more harum-scarum. It looks more like a race out there. There's obviously some drivers that are eager to develop their racecraft. One of the things that was mentioned during that track walk was about being responsible in planning your overtakes, especially going down to the Stratford hairpin, which is over to the north side of the circuit, to the left of our commentary position here at Shenington, as they come across the line to complete their first 5 laps, and we'll see who is quickest. They all come across the line pretty much together. Jacob Kent for the moment, number 15. No surprise that he's the quickest, because there he is leading the pack. The usual procedure would be get yourself some space on the circuit. There's a couple of drivers just towards the back that appear to have done that, and there's another couple coming through there. One of those is S-Killed Hewitt, who is down in 8th place for the moment. Again, it might be one of those scenarios where certain drivers are just going to play themselves in, not, of course, still very, very early on in the session. But I think if you're Jacob Kent at the moment, you're probably thinking, well, if I can do this in qualifying, then it sets me in good stead for the race to be able to pass a few drivers and get to the front of the pack, generally that's going to be an indicator that you've got pretty good race pace. Here they go past us once again. Zach Jennings has moved to the top of the timesheet with 56.633, just a tenth ahead of Harry Mike Waldron. Jacob Kent in third for the moment. Just taking a look at the warm-up times, I believe they're actually right on the warm-up pace already. Fastest time there was a 56.656, and so yeah, we have indeed just about beaten that fastest time from the warm-up, and we've now well and truly smashed it with Zach Jennings going to the front on a 56.176. What, of course, it's worth mentioning, we were just about to come to this, and the way the lap times tumble take us rather nicely onto this next point, as there's some tight racing going through the hairpin, and off there, I believe that might well have been Kent, actually, that got squeezed at the exit there of the Stratford hairpin. Wonder if we'll see a replay of that. Hard to tell the number because we don't have the number on the back of these arrive and drive categories, but just being squeezed out there onto the exit curb, and that's something that maybe in the race might not be looked upon very favourably. We've had an improvement from Marcus Galanis-Sinai, who is up into 4th place with 56.846. That's 6 tenths off of the pole time set by Zach Jennings. And interestingly, Daniel Ricciardo, who was fastest in the warm-up, is down in 9th at the moment. Clearly more pace in him, as he's a second off of what he was able to achieve in the warm-up. As we go back to that point about track evolution, we did of course have rain overnight, and when we arrived here, when we went on the track walk, there were still some damp patches, but our race director Matt Daniels decided to what he said was a bold decision to declare the meeting dry, which, looking at the track conditions now, you would absolutely say was the correct call. And at the moment, we just look to see some of the latest lap times. Appears as if we have indeed had an improvement from Jacob Kent. He's still in 3rd place. He now is on a 56.488. I'm wondering maybe at the start of the session if we were looking at a scenario where perhaps we were going to dip into the 55s, but doesn't look quite like we're going to get there at this point. With a minute and a half to go, improvements in lap times are getting more and more difficult to come by, although Jacob Kent once again improves as he moves up with a 56.367, and so too does Galanis-Sinai up into 3rd place there. He's on a 56.4. And it was indeed Jacob Kent that was pushed wide earlier in the session, because we just caught his number 15 on the camera there, and he's trying to make his way back through some of the competition. Of course, there is the potential benefit here with the 4 long straights that we've got. If you are behind another driver, you could get yourself a little bit of slipstream down the 4 straights that we've got. It's not going to be quite the same effect as a circuit like GYG, where you go up the hill there and you have that huge full throttle zone going up towards the hairpin there. But still, it's not a completely unviable tactic to try and use a slipstream here. Looks like Harry Waldron has improved up to 4th place. Behind him is Eskild Hewitt. But it's definitely a bit of a mix-up from what we saw earlier on. Checkered flag is out. So this will be the last lap for many of these drivers now. And let's see if we get any improvements as they come over the line. And they all come through top 4 across the line. Doesn't look as if we've had any improvements there. Eskild Hewitt did improve on his previous lap, 56.815, putting him up into 5th. And that looks as if it's going to be the last improvement we will have in this session, as the last of the drivers, Elena Santos, comes across the line. Looks like she is signalling that she is going for the pits, and no improvements there. So that sets our grid for the first DRS35 heat. It was Zach Jennings that was quickest in qualifying with a 56.176. Jacob Kent just under 2/10 off in the end, getting onto the front row after being involved and coming off worse, and a little bit of argy-bargy coming out of the Stratford hairpin there, as you saw midway through that session. Then it's Marcus Galanis-Sinai in 3rd, Harry Waldron in 4th, and Eskild Hewitt in 5th. And that will be the way that we will come to the starting line for the first DRS35 heat. Put on such a great show yesterday, and if these drivers can put on a show that's anywhere near as exciting as that one, it will be an absolutely fantastic spectacle indeed, as we are gonna, of course, just have a look through the grid for you, as of course we are ready to get set. We'll have one more formation lap and then we'll get this race underway, provided that they can get lined up as they should do for a start. And of course our pole sitter is Zach Jennings. Jacob Kent in 2nd place will be alongside him. Then it's going to be Marcus Galanis-Sinai in 3rd, and Harry Waldron alongside him on the 2nd row. Some drivers that appeared as if they might well have been out of position somewhat relative to their pace in the warm-up session. Eskild Hewitt in 5th was 2nd, and Daniel Iliev in 9th was fastest in that warm-up, so could be a couple to watch out for that might have the pace to make their way up the field. Coming in towards the Bruno chicane now, they look as if they may be a little fast, but it's not a bad pace by any means. They seem to be well behaved at the moment, and I would imagine we're looking good for a start this time by. Just trying to see Andy over on the far side of the circuit, looking quite happy with things so far. Just the one delay that we've had so far, red flag for 3 drivers being involved in an incident on the first lap up at Wilkins. That's our only delay of the day so far, as we get ready for a start of the first ever DRS35 race. And it's a bit of a slow start initially, but they do get away. And coming through into the lead is Zach Jennings, already a couple of lengths ahead as they get into Cafe Corner. And a little bit of a bump there with a couple of drivers as they head in towards the Stratford hairpin. And side by side there for second place, it appears. Looks like Jacob Kent has been pushed down into third. We would imagine that it's Galanis Sinai that's taken the place from him. We just try and see, is that number 16 in second? We can't quite see. There's a move up the inside for third. But Kent is able to fend that off, and it's already going to be a big lead for Zach Jennings over the line. And it is Galanis Sinai in second ahead of Jacob Kent and Harry Waldron. And it looks as if there Wyatt Muldren was able to make the move on Kent to take third, going through Cafe Corner. And now Michael Hunt Nelson is looking for a position into the hairpin, and here he goes. And he takes it, good clean pass, and he may even get another position on the exit, as it looks as if Wyatt Waldron, had a difficult time getting the power down at the exit of the hairpin and looking to take advantage, and climbing all over the outside curb there is Kent. As they go through the hanger corner and into the hairpin, and well, so far Zach Jennings looks like he's in a race of his own. Over the line they come, and it's a 1.5 second lead. It's Galanis Sinai who has moved into second. He takes a slightly wider line into Cafe Corner, and that allows Mike Waldron to think about a move, but it was never really on. And now he's going to try and position himself into the Stratford hairpin, and he does get up the inside. And that's going to be Mike Waldron to second, but again, he doesn't get the good exit out of the Stratford hairpin. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. They go side by side throughout the course of the chicane, and that's a brilliant move from Mike Waldron. It's really good from everybody to avoid contact there. It's so difficult to go side by side through the chicane without contact, but these very young, very inexperienced drivers showing you how it's done. And it's Zach Jennings who's showing them all how it's done at the moment, as he now has a 2.4 second lead after the conclusion of 3 laps. And it's Hunt Nelson that's up into third after all of that action through the exit. So he really got himself 2 positions there. As now Galanis Sinai is back into 5th place, but still well in the battle. And it's a battle now for 3rd place that Hunt Nelson is leading. And Kent, of course, was the one that was making so many moves in qualifying. Naturally got himself squeezed up onto the curb and into the dirt on the exit of the Stratford hairpin. And now they've gotten themselves sorted out in that battle for second. Mike Waldron's just gone 4 tenths quicker than the race leader. So maybe Zach Jennings won't have it all his own way. That's a good piece of defensive driving there from Mike Waldron to protect the inside going into the Stratford hairpin. It's a decent run for Hunt Nelson at the exit. As through the chicane they go. And it was actually Hunt Nelson that had the fastest lap of the race last time with 55.8. Both of them actually on 55.8s, of course. As Hunt Nelson looks like he's going to have to go to the outside to try and make a move. Gets a good run out of the exit. Now where's he going to look to make his move? Because if you go to the inside of turn 1, you're going to have the outside of turn 2, and that's where you really need to be on the inside. Let's see. Well, they're going to hold stations through Cafe Corner, but then taking a wider line is Mike Waldron. And what that lets him do is protect the inside going into the Stratford hairpin. But once again, he really struggles on the exit of the hairpin. And yes, Hunt Nelson goes through into 2nd place. And again, they were both quicker than the leader on that last lap. 3.5 minutes to go. You might well be the case that Jennings is too far ahead, but we'll see how that pans out. Let's see what it is over the line. It's 1.6 seconds, so Jennings, you'd have to say for the moment, he's doing enough. It's Jacob Kent in 4th. Marcus Galanis-Sinai in 5th. Eskild Hewitt in 6th. Daniel Ricciardo, we mentioned, might be one of those that'll come through the field. He's up into 8th for the moment. But there's a pretty big gap between him and Alexander Leshitsky, who's in 7th place there in number 29. As through final few corners they come. And it looks like a significantly lessened lead that time for Zach Jennings, and it is. It's just under 1.2 seconds. Maybe this race isn't over yet. Nobody in real close contact at the... well, nobody among the leaders in close contact. It's Lekshitsky that's looking for a move on Hewitt at the moment in the battle for 6th place. Just a couple of tenths in it between those two. And then behind, Charlie Simmons is just under a tenth behind Daniel Ricciardo. Jennings looks like he's done a better job on this lap in the lead. Looks like it might have come down a little, but not significantly. 1.5 minutes to go, so it might well be 2 more laps after the one that the leaders have just started. We tell a lie, the gap is down to 7 tenths. It looks a bit bigger than 7 tenths visually. But Nelson a little wide out of the hairpin there. They both were, actually. And Harry Waldron waiting to pounce. And the question for Jennings is how, if you do need to defend, how desperate are you going to be? How firm are you going to be? They're coming up to the back marker at the moment. That's the... I believe it's Teddy Shepherd who is just going across the line now. So this will be the penultimate lap. And on that previous lap, Jennings lapped almost as quickly as Hunt Nelson. Looks like Hunt Nelson got a really good run out of Cafe Corner, however. As here comes Jennings past the back marker. And Hunt Nelson gets a really good run out of the hairpin. Timed that move really well to get past the lap Teddy Shepherd. And as they come towards the hangar corner, despite Hunt Nelson getting past the traffic really well, you dare suggest that Jennings might well have done just enough. Here we come to the line, and it looks like it might well be about 4 tenths maybe. Yeah, 4.5 tenths between them as they start the last lap. Close battle for 4th as well between Kent and Galanis-Sinai. Is that Galanis-Sinai? No, it's Kent protecting the inside at Cafe Corner. Oh, and he moves across. Almost. Oh, that was almost. Didn't see him there. And is that a move for... No, it's not a move for the lead, but it's very close to one. Hunt Nelson is right behind Jennings now. Does Jennings have anything left in the tank? They're coming up towards the hangar corner now. There could be a move on into Wilkins. Outside, Hunt Nelson goes. Will he try and pull off the switchback? Yes, he will, but he's going to be on the outside left-hander. He'll go back towards the inside. They could cross the line side by side. It's going to be a photo finish. I don't know who won. Who won? Jennings, 2/100ths of a second in it. Well, we thought the finish of 4th place in the 125 race was pretty crazy early on. And we wondered, would he have enough in the tank? Yes, he did, by 0.019. What a finish! And we talked about how great the DRS35s were yesterday. And just how great it would be if these drivers could produce half the amount of action. Well, I'm not sure, it wasn't quite as action-packed a race, but boy oh boy did we save the last for the end there with that finish. Zach Jennings had such a big lead early on, and it was whittling down, and every time you thought he was doing enough, it came down big time. And then right at the end there, side by side to the finish, it does not get any better than that. Zach Jennings edges out Micah Hunt Nelson by less than 2/100ths of a second. What a start to DRS35s here in the Daniel Ricciardo Series.
Yours? First four then? Yeah, the first four, yeah.
So we now are going to be heading to our lunch break, and we'll be back with you in half an hour's time. Those of you who are watching on the stream, the schedules stating that we've got the drivers ready to go for the DRS 125s at 20 past 1. So it's a half-hour break for those of us at the circuit. But for those of you that are watching the streams, it looks as if we're going to be getting back going at about 1:20. So do join us for that. It's been absolutely great to be with you throughout the course of the morning. We hope you've very much been enjoying watching the action from here as the 2024 Daniel Ricciardo Series gets underway at Shenington. DRS35 pre-final, and you know, these Arrive and Drive classes were all about adding to the show, and so far it feels like they're well and truly stealing the show with that photo finish in particular in the heat race earlier on. Zach Jennings, by the skin of his teeth, managing to hold off Micah Hunt Nelson to the checkered flag. Had a huge lead after the opening lap as they fought like frantically behind him, but in the end it was Hunt Nelson that managed to come out on top in that fight for second place and then reel in the race leader and set up that incredible photo finish where, watching it live, we quite frankly could not tell who had won the race. It was that close. Absolutely fantastic to see, and hopefully more of the same for this pre-final. 45s, of course, the other Arrive and Drive category, who you will see on our feed next time out at Little Rissington. They'll be the ones racing on Sunday and featuring on the stream, whereas these 35s will be racing on the Saturday. But they, the 45s also have been a big highlight this weekend. Lots to talk about, lots of great racing, some incidents too, but that's perhaps to be expected, and certainly while you don't like to see drivers' races end badly, you sure do like to see good hard racing, and I dare suggest we've seen the best of that in the 2 Arrive and Drive cadet categories so far this weekend. Brand new, of course, to the Daniel Ricciardo Series. They're just a little bit quick as they go past Andy Cox on the hanger straight there, and now they approach Wilkins, and it looks like we're set for a start if they can make sure they get themselves down to the right speed. Looking good. And they just bottleneck slightly, but they do get away. And sweeping to the outside there, and actually moving into second place there. That's Hunt Nelson holding a position around the outside through the first corner, and now in towards a Stratford hairpin they come as Jennings opens out that early lead. Looking for a move there is number 12, Harry Myatt Waldron, looking for a move into second. There's a bit of an issue behind them. No contact, but a little bit slow off the corner there was our 4th place runner. And the top 3 right together, and it looks like already Hunt Nelson is looking for a move. And Jennings, as he was to end the previous race, is struggling for pace. Here comes Hunt Nelson to take the lead, and this is going to be making a move now. Myatt Waldron into second, and Jennings losing 2 places through the end of the lap there. As we see the replay, you'll see that on your screens. We watch them come through Cafe Corner here, and it's number 15 there, Kent in 4th, Jacob Kent, and then Eskild Hewitt in 5th. And is this a battle for the lead? No, not quite, as Myatt Waldron looked initially as if he was going to move to the outside. Now might have the run coming out of the Stratford hairpin. Don't think he'll have enough grunt to get by into the chicane, and he does indeed think better of it. The top 5 right close together at the moment. In fact, they're all running pretty close together. Our top 11 all in close contact at the moment, as that was Jacob Kent there looking to the outside for a potential move for 3rd place. Bit of a mistake coming off of the final corner there by Hunt Nelson. That's going to allow Myatt Waldron to get to the inside going into the first corner. But it will, of course, allow the leader to keep them. No, and pass made before they get there. Into the lead goes Harry Myatt Waldron. He was looking for the move on the inside going into turn 1, which is normally not the preferred way to pass. It puts you on the outside for turn 2, but he was ahead before they even got to turn 2, as Jennings there just edged out a little wide as they approached the Stratford hairpin there. All's well that ends well, you'd imagine, on that one, but he's fallen back down. It looks as if to 5th. It looks as if Eskild Hewitt there has gotten past him for 4th place. And with 6 3/4 minutes to go, we've already had a lot of action. It looks like we've got a lot more in front of us yet, as Jacob Kent now is making a move for 2nd place, and he gets to the inside there of Hunt Nelson, and now it looks like Hunt Nelson is one that might well be dropping back, as past us they come. And it's Hewitt now looking for the move on Hunt Nelson. Kent looking to the outside. Here comes the move. Hewitt not able to get through on the inside. And now they split a little. It's going to be Myatt Waldron versus Kent for the lead. It's going to be Hunt Nelson versus Hewitt for 3rd. Up towards Wilkins they come, and it's Kent looking for the move under braking down the inside. And then he's a little bit slow actually coming out of the final corner there. And a move being made for 3rd. Hewitt trying to get around the outside going into Cafe Corner. He had the inside for the first corner, and he does manage to get it done around the outside under braking. Kent once again. Kent taking that straighter line on the approach to the Stratford hairpin. Is that a move for the lead? They're side by side. And Mike Waldron looks as if he's held on to it for now. And he will hold on to it going down the Hanger Straight. And almost a move there. Could hear the production crew going all behind me as if they were expecting a move and we were expecting one too. They're living the race with us. It is a great one here that we've got in store as looks like he's going to get the run here. Is Kent looking to get the up and under off of Cafe Corner and make the move, and this time, well no, he is going to fade to the outside. Oh, he's going to try and pull the dummy. That's a fantastic pass and into the lead, but right on the exit they're going to go side by side. This is incredible racing. Side by side into the chicane, and it looks like Mike Waldron has taken it back, but has he taken too much speed going into the chicane? Looks like he's gotten away with it, got good run there, had to slow down a little bit through the middle part there, but it got him the exit that he needed. And the top four now have pulled away and made this a race of their own. Is there contact there? No, not quite. There's a little bit of a problem there for, I think that's Kent actually, that's struggling at the exit of the final corner. He gathers it back up, holds on to second place for the time being. And now top four right together. Mike Waldron, Kent, Hewitt, Hunt Nelson. And heat winner Zach Jennings is now down to 6th place. Still only 3 seconds off the lead, however. As here we get a replay, and oh yeah, big contact there between Kent and Mike Waldron, and that's a hard one to call. Mike Waldron turned in, but the question is, was Kent really there to take that place? Maybe he was not. We will see if there's any ruling on that one. As once again, Kent is a little slow coming off of the final corner. But once again, he's able to hold on to the place through the first couple of corners. As Mike Waldron takes that tight line coming out of Cafe Corner, but he has a little bit of a margin as he heads towards the hairpin. And there's a good battle behind this top four. Looks like 5th, 6th and 7th are in close contact as well. As that's Galanis Sinai ahead of Jennings and Iliev in 7th. Iliev was the one that was fastest in the warm-up, and we expected maybe to make a move. As making a move here for the lead is Kent this time. It is a clean move, and he just about holds it on the exit as we've got 90 seconds to go. Side by side they go, and yeah, Kent is going to hold the lead through Cafe Corner ahead of Mike Waldron, who now has Eskil Hewitt to worry about as he moves to the outside. And Kent moving to the outside too. That move we were going to talk about earlier on, because when we did the track walk with Andy was specifically saying, don't take the straight line going into the hairpin. It will slow you down, but Jacob Kent didn't listen to that, and it does seem to be working for him. Down the Hanger Straight they go. Move for 3rd. And wide at the exit there as they're going to keep going side by side. That's Hunt Nelson trying to take 3rd back there from Eskil Hewitt as we now start what will be our penultimate lap. And Mike Waldron was losing ground earlier, but he's now right back on the tail of Jacob Kent. Kent's going to take that wide line. Is it going to open the door? Oh, it almost did. He turned in there, and we were wondering, oh, is there going to be contact? But they've raced so well so far, these young drivers. and even back down to 11th place. They're still in relative close contact with the leaders, as making a move there was Mike Waldron, and then around the outside went Hunt Nelson, and now Hewitt is going to go side by side for 3rd place again. Looks like he's going to have the door shut on him going through the first corner as we begin the last lap. Mike Waldron close to making a move. He had a look. Down towards the hairpin they go. They're so close together. And a move there. Is that going to be a move for 2nd? Looks like they're a little bit delayed as they go side by side. I'm just trying to see, is that still Kent in the lead? Yes, it is, in the green. Side by side for 2nd, coming out of the chicane. Could be 3 wide. Little contact as Mike Waldron gets in towards the hanger corner ahead of them. Kent is going to take the win, and they'll fight for 3rd to the line as Hewitt just can't quite find a way past Hunt Nelson. It's another absolutely terrific race in the DRS35. Glanis Sinai takes 5th place from Zach Jennings. So Jennings had taken that position back quite clearly while we were focusing on the fight at the front. And Iliev, look at that, Iliev beat to 6th place by just 2/1000ths of a second. So, well, that really was a photo finish. It couldn't have been any more than millimeters involved in the finish between those two. But in the end, it's Jacob Kent that holds on. The question is going to be, what will be made of that incident at Wilkins where he tried to make the pass on the inside of Harry Waldron? Who will get the rap for that contact, if indeed there is any kind of punishment handed out at all? That will be the question. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the remainder of the day. These DRS35s due back out on track relatively shortly, actually, because after the DRS 100 pre-final, we go straight back to these. They'll be the first of the grand finals to take place on the circuit. So we'll see exactly what happens with Jacob Kent, whether or not he will keep the win. But for now, Jacob Kent is the winner of the DRS35 pre-final. Time for our first ever DRS35 Grand Final, and if it is anything like what these drivers have given us out on track so far, then it is absolutely guaranteed to be a real special race, this one. We, of course, we had the incident, what looked like contact between the race winner there of that pre-final, and of course that was Jacob Kent, as he made contact with Harry Waldron, who ended up in 2nd. Didn't see any kind of contact warning, however, come up on the screens, and from what we understand, there hasn't been any change to the final result here as we go around for our second of the 2 formation laps. Penalty that we did see, however, in that pre-final was for Daniel Ricciardo, who gained a place as a result of contact with another kart. That incident there with Elena Santos, which has lifted her up a place, and Charlie Simmons up to 8th with Iliev back down to 9th. The drivers now going through the Bruno chicane, and in just a few moments' time will be ready for their grand final. They're looking a little quick coming down the Hanger Straight. I'm sure that Andy will be out there to ask them to slow the pace, and just instructing them there to make sure that they're within their tram lines when they come around to the start-finish line. They've been pretty well behaved through the day so far. As we mentioned earlier, Andy took them on a track walk, and they really did a good job of taking in the advice that was given to them. Here we go for the grand final, and we're underway, and Kent looking to hold the line there, but getting through and into the lead is Zach Jennings. And Jennings, who struggled to hold on to the lead in the heat and then slipped down the field in the pre-final, of course finds himself once again fighting from the front here as Kent will look for a move. At the exit of the Stratford hairpin, and of course we've got some 12 minutes yet, plus change of this to come. So we see a replay here, and I'm not sure exactly what unless there's been an incident further back in the pack. And yes, there was a spinner there towards the back of the field. Couldn't quite catch the number from here as across the line they come for the first lap, and Jennings just holds position there from Kent, sweeping round the outside to keep the lead there, as Galanis Sinai there is in third, ahead of Mike Waldron and Hunt Nelson. And a move for the lead here coming from Jacob Kent, and he takes it, although Jennings is going to get him back at the exit. And it'd be great to see if Jennings could factor into the mix for this one, because there'll just be one more driver in a position to make this an absolutely incredible race. He actually pulls out a little bit of a gap there on Kent at the exit of the chicane. As now looking to make the move is Galanis Sinai. And around the outside there, going into the hairpin, is nearly contact. Oh, I was just waiting there for Mike Waldron to turn in, and thankfully he did not, as he had another car just about ready to just right alongside his right rear there. And they're side by side of the exit there, although in the end, Mike Waldron cuts back in. And a move for second. Galanis Sinai and Kent, who is pushed out wide. He might lose the place here to Mike Waldron too. But they sort themselves out, and if anything, it's Kent that's looking more like retaking second as they move into the chicane. What this is doing is allowing the same scenario to unfold as happened in the heat. Zach Jennings pulling away once again. It's nowhere near as big a lead as he had in that heat race, but it's still a good half a second, and that's a good lead in these less powerful machines. As looks like a potential mistake there on the exit of the final corner, and that looks as if it's dropped Jacob Kent back down to third place, and he's wide through Cafe Corner there. Hewitt is side by side with Mike Waldron, excuse me. And into the hairpin they come, and looks like Mike Waldron has actually held it on the inside there. Jacob Kent climbing all over the curb on the exit of the hairpin there. And Jennings' lead at the end of that previous lap was 0.8 of a second. I have to say, it's looking a little bit bigger than that at the moment as he comes in towards the Wilkins hairpin, and the fight is going to be for second place. It's a three-way fight for fourth place at the moment. And just about in touch there is Alexander Lekshitsky, who's just keeping a watching eye there in the number 29. As Kent looks for a move on Galanis Sinai, and he has to go around the outside. And that's good defending there. Well, it was good defending from Galanis Sinai, but he doesn't get the good exit. And Kent will have the position going into the chicane, and Galanis Sinai smartly chooses not to fight it. You don't want to go side by side through there, realistically. Generally doesn't end well, although we have of course seen these very drivers do that pretty well earlier on. As in towards Wilkins they come, and Jennings continues to pull away. No questions about his pace this time, as they're side by side down the straight, across the finish line. Myatt Waldron and Galanis Sinai looking to fight for positions. As past us they come, and it's now going to be a five-way battle for second place, and Jennings now a second and a half up the road as Myatt Waldron looks up the inside, and it's held well there by Kent. That's going to allow Galanis Sinai the chance to move for second in towards the chicane, and this time that's very well defended there by Myatt Waldron. He didn't really have the kind of position that he needed, but he took a lot of speed through the first part of the chicane around the outside, but it has left him compromised at the exit. And here comes Galanis Sinai back up the inside, and he could lose a second position there. He has done. And who's that got round there? That was Hunt Nelson that got by Myatt Waldron as well. So now it's Jacob Kent leading Galanis Sinai in that battle for second. And at the moment, it looks like there's no questions about who's going to win this one. Up the inside, Myatt Waldron taking fourth. And Hewitt is there side by side in the fight for fifth. And Hunt Nelson tries to hold it around the outside in the first part of the chicane, and he gets a good exit this time around. He's still there. Hewitt is in position to have a go, but it doesn't look like a sure thing, and indeed it's not. As Hunt Nelson holds the position, or he did, but now they look like they might be side by side again coming across the start-finish line. They are, as we just lose them in the shot there, as we're focused on Jacob Kent and Galanis Sinai. And Hewitt did not get past. That's dropped him and Hunt Nelson off of the battle for second place. As here now, a move is, well, it's Galanis Sinai looking for that move, but not able to find it, as Hunt Nelson is wide there on the exit of the hairpin. Not quite wide enough for Hewitt to take advantage. And Zach Jennings, meanwhile, his lead 1.9 seconds. Looks like it might actually be a little bit less than that as they come across the line this time. We've still got 4.5 minutes to go in this one. It's actually a little more. It's a tenth more, 2 seconds now. And here comes that fight for second again. Down towards Stratford Hairpin. It's Kent that has it at the moment. Doesn't look like anybody's going to line up a move at the moment. Looks like Galanis Sinai thought about it, but realistically, too far back. We did have a spinner earlier on, of course. I'm just looking through the field at the moment to identify who it might be, and I can see that Daniel Iliev is running quite some way behind where you'd expect him to be, so that rather makes you think that he was the one that had that spin. He's running in 12th place at the moment, behind Senna Kozrapana, who is holding him at bay pretty well at the moment. As they're side by side almost for third place there. Galanis Sinai looking to hold off Maya Waldron, who moves to the inside going into the Stratford hairpin and will indeed take third place. Jacob Kent meanwhile taking a 10th off of Jennings on that previous lap, but that's not going to be enough to make a big late rally for the lead. Under 3 minutes to go now, as we watch Maya Waldron looking to make the move on the outside into Wilkins, and now they come down the start-finish straight. I believe they're just about to approach a back marker here. Indeed they are, and already through is Jennings, and now Kent just coming through as they move past Teddy Shepherd there. And looking for a move, and no compromise there through the hairpin as he tries to get around there. Was Galanis Sinai, but then he looks as if he actually boxed in Myatt Waldron there. I think he did. And that's going to drop him back into the clutches of of Hunt Nelson and Ezekiel Hewitt. So that's a big break there for Galanis Sinai, who is going to have a pretty big advantage now. It's 1.6 seconds ahead now in his hopes of standing on the podium at the end of this one. Of course, we will have the podium celebrations to follow shortly after the conclusion of our 3 grand finals here, as that's Myatt Waldron looking to hold off the challenge of Hunt Nelson for 4th and 5th there. Jennings' lead, meanwhile, is stable. It's 2 seconds. I don't think Jacob Kent is going to be able to chase him down, as it's Hunt Nelson who was the one that did chase down Jennings in the heat race earlier on that ended in that photo finish. He's the one that's looking closest to making a move right now as they fight for 4th place. Ezekiel Hewitt is right there as well, so that three-way battle is the closest one on the circuit at the moment, and nobody else really in close contact. Looks like Hewitt there was looking to make a move, but then he falls back a little as they head in towards the hairpin, and we get ready to start the final lap in a few corners time. And we do have to say that throughout the course of the day, one of the things we spoke about at the very start of the day was some of these drivers trying to find their way through their paces and get up to a good speed. And certainly the likes of Lily Catignon and Charlie Simmons, Senna Kozrapana, those drivers are amongst those that have found the speed as the day has progressed. Not quite able to get to the front, but certainly they're finding their rhythm. We are on the last lap now. Jennings 2.1 seconds clear as the battle continues to 4th place. Hunt Nelson looks to make a move into the Stratford hairpin, but Harry Myatt Waldron holds him off. It's been a fantastically competitive day for these DRS35s. They have been the stars of the show. Absolutely no question. And around now will come Zach Jennings through the final corners. They continue to fight for 4th place. It looks like Hunt Nelson has made it up the inside, but taking the win is Zach Jennings ahead of Jacob Kent. They're going to go side by side for 4th, 5th and 6th. And they were 3 wide, and in the end it was Myatt Waldron that held on to it. And the gap between the three of them, just a tenth of a second at the finish. It looked as if there, as we see the replay now on the stream, as if Hunt Nelson had got the place. But I think he just took too much speed into the entrance. You could see him fighting the steering wheel and just not able to get the exit that he needed. And so in the end, it was Harry Myatt Waldron that retook 4th place. So our podium will be Zach Jennings, Jacob Kent and Marcus Galanis Sinai. Congratulations to them. We'll see them later on the podium. But I think all of these DRS35 drivers can give themselves a massive pat on the back for coming in the way they have, showing the racecraft they have, showing the speed they have, the maturity, getting used to the circuit and the demands of the DRS35s. And not only have they done that, they put on the best racing we've seen today. Of course, there's still a chance for the DRS 125s and 100s to show us something spectacular themselves, but boy oh boy do they have a job to do to top what we've seen from the 35s today. Zach Jennings is our first winner of the DRS 35 Grand Final, ahead of Jacob Kent and Marcus Galanis Sinai.
You are 40.
Welcome to the podium presentation for round 1 of the 2024 Daniel Ricciardo Series here at Shenington. It's been an absolutely fantastic day, on such a huge day for the championship as well, and that's why Andy Cox is next to me, just to remark on first and foremost. Obviously huge success with the DRS 45 and 35, the 2 Arrive and Drive categories making their debut this weekend. Your thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved. It's been a lot of work to get everything together. Not only, as you say, did we have the new Arrive and Drive 35 and 45, but we also had the introduction, obviously, of a new power unit for the 100 and 125s in the B&B. So they both won the races today. So that's the future for us moving forward, as is the 35 and 45. Lots of new drivers coming along, really close racing. Karts were fantastic. So yeah, and the commentator wasn't too bad either. So it's all good.
All's well that ends well. Thank you, Andy. We will now start with our podium presentations, and we'll start with the DRS 35s. How much they impressed today. That photo finish was truly tremendous. And we'll first go with our 3rd place driver, who was Marcus Galanis Sinai. And in 2nd place, Jacob Kent. And our winner, triumphant in that photo finish in the heat and managing to get the win in the grand final, was Zach Jennings.
Well done, everybody.
And now we go over to our DRS125 podium presentation, and we'll first begin with our top novice driver, Jack Clayton. And of course, Jack will stay on the podium alongside our top 3 overall finishers. And in third place was Charlie Ratford. In second place was Ethan Critchley. And our winner in the DRS 125s was Sam Faulkner. And now finally time for our 100 presentation. And our top novice driver was Josh Mills. And now for our overall top 3 in the DRS 100, starting with our third place finisher, Liam Karabelov. Snatching second place right at the very end was Dorian Malik. And our winner with probably the hardest earned clean sweep you'll ever come across was Freddie Farrell. And thank you all for being with us here for round 1 of the 2024 Daniel Ricciardo Series. What an excellent set of races we've had, not just today, but also for the DRS35s yesterday as well. That is it for us from Shenington. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time at Rissington.